First off, I'm not as physically fit as I used to be in. Second, well, let me explain. Oh, I'm really not in shape. I'm just a small town girl that grew up outside of Philly with big dreams to travel the world. And my college major was music, theater, dance. Not the easiest of career paths, especially for an introvert. I graduated college thinking to myself, how am I going to do what I really want to do in life? Well, you do what any sane, recently graduated musical theater dance major does, that's also introverted. And you run away with the circus. That's what I did. I find myself standing in the middle of Penn Station in New York City on my way to audition for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Now to say, thank you, to say I was terrified is an understatement. I mean, I had no clue what I was doing, where I was going. I had never traveled alone before to New York City. And to be honest, I've never ever been to the Big Apple. I mean, I grew up living in a small town. So the big city was scary to a girl like me. But my dreams had to be bigger than my fears. Even trying to figure out where to get on and off multiple trains was a nightmare. I mean, I remember asking the conductors and anyone around me if I was on the right train. Because sometimes, when you don't know where you're going, you need to stop and ask questions. Let me take out my ponytail here. Those are the moments that we all need a little confirmation that we're on the right track. How about you? Are you on the right track? Is it time you start asking some questions? Maybe you're a college graduate like I was, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom trying to navigate your way back into the workplace. Or maybe you're somebody, anybody, who's going through a devastating divorce, a loss, or a trauma. And if so, my story might resonate with you and help you get to where you need to go. So here I am. I miraculously made it to this audition. And after a fairly simple dance routine, I'm put at ease, I'm feel relaxed, I'm confident, until part 2 of that audition was announced, and that is known as the Aerial Audition. Now this consists of climbing a Spanish web. Now the Spanish web, by the way, is a long rope that's hung from a truss. My immediate thoughts were, I got straight A's in physical education. I know I can climb a rope. Sure enough, I'm up first. I climb up to the top. Not a problem. But then the instructor asked me to put my wrist through this wrist loop that's attached to the web and pull down the safety ring that's attached to the loop. And I do, and I look at her with an expression of success. And I quickly get out. I start climbing down, and she yells up at me. She says, oh, no, Cassandra, I want you to hang from that wrist loop and push away from the web. I look at her in a deer in headlights kind of way, you know? Because on the inside, I was screaming, oh, my God, I'm going to die right here in the circus. Fear came over me the minute I realized how high up I was. But then she asked me to hang, in a sense, let go. My heart started pounding 100 miles a minute, and that was when I remembered my fear of heights. It's no joke. Listen, I've had this fear for a long time, but somehow I mustered up enough courage because I had transcended this inner barrier. You know, and I surrendered my fear because I knew that if I didn't take that risk, I'd never get out of that small town of mine, travel the world, perform. So I mustered up enough courage. I finished that routine. I climbed back down. I got the job. But for 25 years, I've struggled with that fear as an aerialist. It's not something I ever overcame. That's why that was not that easy. It's just something I learned how to deal with. I learned how to manage. Definitely not something I shared with my professional aerialist friends. Now, since retirement, I'll occasionally train at the circus school as a way to stay in shape. And I'm constantly reminded of not just my fear of heights, but how much I learned about life by performing in the air. And there are 3 aerial moves that I think we all can relate to in life. And they are the cocoon, the neck spin, and the bullet drop. Now, the cocoon is exactly what you picture it to be. You're wrapped up in these silks, what I just came in on. You're wrapped up in those silks, and the audience cannot see you. You cannot see the audience. But you're moving about your body, making different artistic shapes within this cocoon. And it's inspiring and beautiful to watch. Now, like in life, sometimes we need to hide from the world and maybe figure things out, to reflect, relax, contemplate what to do next. In there, you'll find stillness, but not for long. Sometimes this cocoon is on purpose. Sometimes it's not. But it is where you find safety and security. Now, you may make shapes within this cocoon, and those shapes may be that of fear, anxiety, anger, bitterness, stress, resentment, humbleness, and healing. And with healing begins the transition, because eventually you must come out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, and begin anew. A new chapter waits, and from there, your journey begins. The cocoon. Now, the neck spin starts off slow and gradually gets faster and faster and faster, but it's only done perfectly if your center is found while spinning. Now, the spin in life can emulate the overwhelming anxieties and stress of this world we live in, the chaos, and we live in a very stressful world. However, finding center is a way of coping with that stress and anxiety. The center is a way to stay calm in the storm. An example of a neck spin in my personal life was at a time when I was raising my kids on my own. I mean, you're going from a sporting event to a dance recital to parent-teacher meetings to doing their homework and all the crazy running around you do as a parent, the shopping, the paying the bills, and keep a full-time job. That was a neck spin in my life. Now, how did I make it through? Well, I thought about the beach and a pina colada. I definitely value downtime, which happened to be when my kids were asleep, but I visualized, I prayed, I listened to music, I exercised, I took walks. Those were the secret ingredients for my sanity. That was my center. And what I realized about that neck spin today is visually on the outside, it's very impressive. But on the inside is truly where the magic was in effect. The inside, like in life. Now, have you ever felt like the bottom of your life fell out? One of my favorite tricks to do on the silk is called the bullet drop. Now, this could be exciting or this could be scary. The bullet drop is a head-first drop. It is a dramatic drop, and it's fast. It has a wow effect. It has a surprise effect. An example of a bullet drop in life, I think, would be that of a career change. That could be exciting or scary. It could be financial stress. It could be cancer. It could be that of a couple desperately wanting to have a child and finally finding out that they're expecting. Whatever it is, it's a surprise. And that's the bullet drop. And what I realized about the bullet drop in my life, and I think in most people's lives, is that it is more real than not. Because you never know when a surprise is lurking around that corner. And you don't know whether it's going to be joyful, exciting, or tragic. And there are some ways we can handle that. Sometimes we can prepare. Sometimes. We can certainly seek advice. We can educate ourselves. We can find faith. We can definitely use the secret ingredients I use in the next minute of life. We can apply them here as well. Only always remember to find something to be thankful about, even during the most trying times in life. Because something within you shifts when you do. Gratitude is a blessing to yourself. Now, those are just a few of my many routines I've experienced as an aerialist. And I'm still afraid of heights. Yet I continue to rise above that fear. Why? Because the dream must be greater than the fear. And the result must be more compelling than standing still. And actually, standing still is far scarier than going for it and failing. Because the possibilities of success far outweigh the fear of going for it. Don't allow fear to paralyze you so much that you never take action. If you fear anything, fear regret. I know it's not easy. Trust me. Oh, I know. But I also know it is worth it. It truly is. Now, one last routine I'd like to share with you was one of my scariest performances of all time was when I had to rappel from a 74-feet catwalk at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, to the top of my silk, which was hung about maybe 45 feet from the floor. Now, at the time, I didn't even know what the word rappel meant. Clearly, it's what rock climbers do. But I had to trust my rigger. He's the guy that hung my equipment. He's up to par on all the safety regulations. And I had to trust that his instructions were clear and understood so that I can execute them with confidence. Talk about freaked out scared. I mean, freaked out. I incited every positive affirmation you could possibly think about. But listen, those are awesome, by the way, but they're nothing without action. I definitely celebrated after that performance. And that is why, to this day, I truly enjoy a tall glass of port wine. Listen, I believe that hanging by my ankles for a living was pretty exciting. I ask you, how have you been hanging by your ankles? What's next for you? How will you transition? And who will be your rigger, that go-to person in your life that could possibly guide you? Your spouse, a friend, a coach, a counselor. Find that someone that could hold the ropes, that could ascend your life. I invite you to a life of climbing exciting ladders and twisting in beautiful silks and truly taking flight. Thank you.